Like I was eating like literally bagels and cream cheese like 19 hours into this ride. And I was like, this is great. Like I still like bagels and cream cheese. I was doing a descent that I'm fairly familiar with local one, and I was leading up for the last corner. Wasn't even in the corner, going like, I don't know, like 26, 27 miles an hour, and suddenly just felt the bike going sideways. And it was one of those feelings where like it's happening so fast and you know it's happening, but there's nothing you can do at that point, which was terrifying. And so I landed like this, pavement, straight on the pavement. And my fiance was up the road. He comes back because he can just hear like my scream and the bike, you know, the typical bike crash sound. And he comes back and he's like, what happened to you? And I was like, this one's bad. Like, I don't know what happened. Definitely it feels like something's broken. And he's like, okay, like let's figure it out. So we eventually get home, and I had started to kind of like check it out, like feeling like, did I break my collarbone? Like, you know, do I feel anything that's like particularly painful? And once the initial pain kind of wore off, it was like not too bad. A day passes. I think I had like an ibuprofen for the swelling just to kind of like try to help it, because it was definitely swollen, especially in my right elbow area on my arm. But the pain isn't crazy. I asked a couple of my friends in like the medical space, and I was like, hey, like, do you think it's broken? And like I sent them like a photo, and you can't really see swelling in a photo. I asked my fiance, and he's like, no, I think you'd be more pain if it was like broken. Like, you're not really complaining about the pain. I was like, you're right, it doesn't really hurt that much. Day 5 comes, and like my fiance's mom is like, we're taking you to get an x-ray. And I walk into the doctor's office, and I'm like super cocky about it. And I was like, yeah, I need to get an x-ray, but like it's probably nothing, it's probably fine. And they look at it and they're like, yeah, you're getting an x-ray right now. So sure, fine. Get an x-ray. The doctor comes in and he's like white, just white as a sheet. Just like, oh my goodness. And he says, so you broke your arm, your elbow specifically, and I need you to go down to the surgeon, the orthopedic surgeon, like right now. So I thought he was joking at that point, because I was like, well, it doesn't hurt that badly. Like, it can't be, I mean, maybe it's broken a little bit, but like this is like, you know, surgery is silly. So I go down anyways to the surgeon. I show them like the disc of the x-ray, and I'm super chill. So the woman at the front desk is like kind of like non-reactive, like, yeah, we'll get back to you. Like, she calls me back 15 minutes later, and she has like the same reaction of being like, okay. And she's like, yes, you need surgery like ASAP, like emergency. And I was like, okay. So a few days later, I go in for surgery, and I get a plate and 8 pins, and like couldn't move my arm for a long time. Like, the surgeon was like, yeah, you probably won't be riding your bike for many, many months. And so like I still can't like straighten my arm properly. But I learned pretty quickly that you don't need to have a fully straight arm. I've got a cool scar now, at least. Before my crash, I was, you know, doing like a 10-hour, 14-hour ride. Wasn't something that was super crazy, because I had done it a few times that I was like, I had the confidence for it. I decided very spontaneously that I wanted to do a Half-Everest on my mountain bike on gravel. So that took a long time, because I was riding like, you know, my dual suspension mountain bike. But because I hadn't done anything like that since January, like my longest rides were probably like 3 or 4 hours. I had no idea how I would do in like a 10 to 20 hour context. I was like, okay, well, I can't change anything about my physical training. Like, what's done is done. Here's what I've got. But what I can do is focus on my nutrition and my hydration. So I work in spreadsheets. So I just created a spreadsheet for my hydration and nutrition. And I worked a lot with my coach too. And we had, you know, our carbohydrate intake that we wanted to shoot for, our salt intake that we wanted to shoot for hydration. And then just kind of like broke it out. I was like, here's how much I need to drink per hour. Here's how much, like, you know, scoops of electric mix that I need to like kind of mix in there. Basically starting out, I had like a ton of like bagels and cream cheese, like whatever I thought tasted really good. I definitely overplanned, and I definitely had a lot more food than I needed to. My snack drawer is overflowing at this point, because I have how many like Rice Krispie treats and Pop-Tarts and whatever. But it worked out surprisingly well. I never at any point felt like I couldn't eat. I bought like a 24 count of those mini croissants, and I didn't eat them all on the ride, but like within like 4 days of buying them, they were all gone. So I basically decided that long distance riding like that is essentially a food eating contest of just eating as much as you can and trying to keep it down.